Okay, let's take a look at UA1BK2. And that code is the one for requirements of the small unmanned aerial system to be in a condition for safe operation. So let's dive into this. I mean, that seems pretty common sense, and it to a large extent is, but let's look at the actual regulation that you are getting test questions on relative to this code. Okay, and this comes from FAR 10715, and that regulation says that no person may operate a civil small unmanned aircraft system unless it is in a condition for safe operation. All right, fairly straightforward, right? It goes on to say that prior to each flight, the remote pilot in command must check the small unmanned aircraft system to determine whether it is in a condition for safe operation. So, again, this is where the pre-flight comes into place. You are required as a drone pilot to do a pre-flight. This is the regulation that talks about it, and this is the code that indicates that the FAA is going to ask you questions to make sure that you know that you not only need to make sure the aircraft is safe, and you have to check it before each flight. Now, this regulation goes on to say that no person may continue a flight of the small unmanned aircraft when he or she knows or has reason to know that the small unmanned aircraft system is no longer in a condition for safe operation. So basically, what the FAA wants to make sure that you know is that you're not allowed to fly a drone that's not safe. It should be common sense, but nonetheless, there's always that guy, and that's why they have regulations about that, and why there are test questions that they could write to make sure that you understand that. Additionally, they want to make sure you know that you do have to, before you fly, do a pre-flight inspection to make sure the aircraft is safe. And they also want to know that you understand that if, let's say it was safe, when you did your pre-flight, you took off, you started flying, then something happened that made the aircraft unsafe, that you are legally required to bring that flight to a halt whenever that aircraft system is no longer in a safe operation. That's what the FAA is wanting to make sure that you understand with this particular code.